Hello, everybody. Welcome to our genealogical session for June 2022. We were going to have a class on African American genealogy resources earlier, but things got discombobulated, so we're having it now. My name is Mary Schweers. I am a genealogist with the Historical Society. A little bit about my background. I started genealogy as a hobby probably about 15, 16 years ago. And after a short time, I started wondering if I was doing it correctly. And so I signed up for courses in genealogical research at Boston University. I completed those. I also went on to additional training in forensic genealogy. And I teach genealogy for the Historical Society. I also work a lot of projects in forensic genealogy with different organizations, helping people find property and stuff like that. So that's a little bit about my background. And forensic genealogy is the study of difficult people, okay? Women, prisoners, people who weren't exactly the records were maintained for. And of course, African American is precisely in that realm. So finding information for ancestors can be really difficult, but it is possible. And we're going to go over today we're not going to deal with basic genealogy. We're going to deal with some new resources that I want to introduce to you that you may not know exist and that you may be able to utilize. So is everybody at least above a basic genealogy level?
Oh dear, I may not be. I may not be.
Who's
I've been
speaking?
using Ancestry. Can you hear?
Yeah, for some reason it's just very garbled. I was just trying to see what level I'm working at. If you want to type in a comment or something, because I'll touch a little bit about basics, but this is going to be more towards what happens when you hit that brick wall. Okay, to begin with, you need to take your family, and in this specific instance, back to 1870. Okay, you need to start with yourself, work backwards to 1870, and that's when you'll start hitting brick walls. The 1870 census were the first ones to list those identified as Black by name. Then you need to try to identify the last enslaver. Remember, over 400,000 were free. So you may not be looking for a slave, okay? And they may be found in the 1860 US free population schedules. Okay, and then for researching potential enslavers, you got to look for wills, probate records, bills of sale, land deeds, freedom seekers ads and papers. So you're going to be looking at county records. You're going to be looking at wills and court records, probate, land deeds, bills of sale, and the newspapers. Okay. So then you need to learn history, start researching the history of the area your families were in and to track the origin. And that's going back way back. So we'll kind of skip that right now. Since World War II, a significant number of African Americans immigrated from Caribbean. So you may be looking at a Caribbean investigating in the Caribbean. Okay, which sounds like a nice vacation. Okay, hold on. Okay, the first thing I want to introduce to you, if you're not familiar with it, you should be, is Google Books. Now, Google Books is accessing the world's biggest library. Okay, and what you do, if you're not familiar with it, you go into Google, you type Google Books, and then you click on the search engine for Google Books. And what that does is takes you to another Google screen that says Google Books. And you type in what you want to look for. So I typed in African American genealogy and all sorts of things came up, but I wanted to show you this one little trick here. And okay, there we go. Now I'm seeing all kinds of screens. I don't know what you're seeing, but
we're seeing the screen that has Black Genesis on it.
okay, good. Okay.
And a link.
A lot of these books have previews. Sometimes you can see the whole book. Sometimes you can see enough to skip buying it. But this is one of the books. I'm gonna go through some stuff on it. It says some pages were omitted. And it's gonna be a little bit of a slow go here, but a lot of these things, this is 2003, so it's not too bad. But let me see. I'm trying to get down to the table of contents so you can see.
We're still just seeing Google.
Oh, you're still seeing Google? Okay,
Yeah,
hold on a minute. I gotta.
With a link.
With a link, okay. You're not seeing this.
And we still aren't.
Okay, hold on. There we go. There we go. You seeing a preface?
Yes.
Okay. This is, yes. So this is the book I was showing you. And you can read the book right online, free. Okay. And it's not all there, but it gives you hints, check off list, and different things to, how do you, and places to go to do research online. It's amazing. I'm trying to get down to the, it's just taking me a while. It has different resources that can be utilized and different ideas of where to go and stuff like that. So here we go. So it's going to take me forever to get down to there. But so Google Books is an excellent resource. And hold on, I'm going to try to go back here. Screen share. Google Books. Okay. Okay. Are you looking at Google Books with the
Black Genesis on it?
Yep. Okay. And go. Okay. Maryland State Archives. And I'm trying to get it to where I can read it. There we go. Maryland has a wonderful record of keeping records that have been well preserved. And the records specific to African American Marylanders are manumissions, certificates, I spelled that wrong, of freedom, census of 1832, the slave statistics, military records, and certificates of slaves. Manumissions and certificates of freedom exist for almost every Maryland county established before 1864. And the Maryland State Archives Legacy of Slavery program has digitized all 111 manumission and certificates of freedom series. Okay, here we go again with the, okay. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna stop share. Okay, screen share. Where'd it go, where'd it go, where'd it go? There we go. Are you seeing Legacy of Slavery in Maryland?
Yes.
Okay, yay. Okay, we're getting it. Okay, this is an amazing, amazing site. It's just www.slavery2.msa.maryland.gov. Okay, and I'm gonna see here. Are you seeing browse by collection?
Yes.
Okay, with a listing of names, offenses, and dispositions of prisoners bound. Okay, so you can browse by collection, and you can, I'm going to switch again, browse by county. Are you seeing the counties?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so if you want to search in Allegheny or Frederick or whatever, you can just click on them. Okay, and you should be seeing certificates of freedom.
Mhm.
Okay,
Right.
with names, Elizabeth Howard, Joseph Johnson. And then over here, you can click on details and it'll give you the information on the record. Okay, and it gives you a reference number. So if you want to go down to the Maryland Archives and see this, that would be the reference number. Okay, and so they have certificates of freedom, the census, and runaway ads for that county. Okay. Okay. And I'm going back.
Okay.
Okay, and Hartford. See, they have more information for Hartford. They are you looking at census 1850, 1860?
Yes.
Okay. They have the census, the certificates of freedom. They have 453. Domestic traffic ads, manumissions. They have one pardon record, and prisoner records and runaway ads. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna have to do this again. Stop share. Okay. Are you seeing Maryland was different?
Yes, however, we're seeing everything for PowerPoint. You may want to press F5, and that'll go to your show. Now we're not seeing it.
Okay. See, I got all these other little boxes in here. I've got all sorts of things. Are you seeing Maryland was different?
Yes, you're seeing it within PowerPoint.
Yes, yes. Okay. What you have to remember is Maryland remained in the Union during the Civil War. So the Emancipation Proclamation did not free Maryland slaves. There was a new state constitution enacted in 1864 that provided for their freedom on November 1st of 1864. So a listing of slaves and owners was required to be done by November 1st, 1864, to allow for promised compensation from the federal government, which of course didn't happen. It was called the Slave Statistics, and they list the age, physical condition, names of owners and slaves. So they exist for Arundel, Carroll, Dorchester, Frederick, Howard, Kent, Montgomery, Prince George's, and St. Mary's. All of the other counties have been misplaced somehow. Come on. Okay. You're probably seeing everything along the side, so I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Maryland State Archives. And I'm going to stop share. Share screen. And share. And you should be seeing Archives of Maryland Online Slavery Commission.
Yes.
Okay. This is all the wonderful stuff that you can research online at the Maryland Archives. So we have Anne Arundel, Certificates of Freedom, chattel records, manumission records, just all kinds of amazing things. And it's tricky, but you can get to the original records. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to show you here. Okay, stop share. It's just going to take a little bit of maneuvering. Share screen. Share. Okay, the second one you go to is this. Okay, and then you click there. Okay, and I appreciate you all being so patient with me. There we go. Share. Okay, and then you'll get to this. Okay, and you'll see details. Okay. And you think that's all you're going to get. But hold on. Okay, and then you get here, and then you see view as a multi-page PDF. So you click on that. And it slowly loads. Okay, and are you seeing Anne Arundel County certificates of freedom?
Yes.
Okay, so in a roundabout way, this is how you get to see the documents and you're actually looking at the records. See them?
Yes.
Okay. So with a little bit of patience through that index, you can, now it's not really indexed for searching. So you're gonna have to have some patience, but this is how you can search through these records and see the actual records. Takes a little bit of work to
Are
get.
they in alphabetical?
Excuse me?
Are they in alphabetical? Are they in chronological order?
They're I believe they're in chronological order. I'm not sure about alphabetical. Okay, it would depend on
Yeah.
how the county. Let me see if I can see over here. And no, it doesn't look like they're in alphabetical. And some
Yeah,
of these,
chronological problem.
yeah, they're in chronological. Some of these have OCRs, optical, whatever. You know, the ones that search by trying to read, having a computer trying to read the writing. And in this type writing, I mean, in printing, it works halfway decent, but in fancy writing or script, no, might as well give it up. It will not work. So it just takes patience, but it's interesting to go through these records and, you know, and when you're reviewing the records, you're learning something about, you know, the people. So it's always beneficial. Okay, so any questions on that? Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. Roundabout way of doing things, but okay. So that's the Maryland Archives.
Okay.
Hi, Jim.
Oh,
Okay. So the next thing I'm going to discuss are land records. Okay. Freeman will be found in the tax records. If they were free, they could own land. And so you can look in land records. Now, marylandlandrecord.net, it doesn't go back that far. Some have had older ones, but this is just a way of finding out about land records. It's marylandmdlandrec.net. You have to submit an application, but it's free, and it's very interesting. So, okay, marriage records. Marriage records were kept in Maryland starting in 1777. Baltimore and Anne Arundel County did maintain some records for African-American marriages. And after the Civil War, marriage licenses were routinely issued to African-Americans. So, and that would be searched for in the county. Now, is everyone looking at the International African-American Museum Center for Family History?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna have to jump over. Stop share. Share screen. There we go. Okay. This was an amazing site I found. Go ahead. Does somebody have a question? Okay. They have digital archives. It's national. It's not specific to any state, but there are historic records. But they're specific to African American history and genealogy. So, and plus they have assistance, a learning center. They have a museum. I'm trying to get this out of the way here.
Is that the museum that's in Charleston?
I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's open yet.
Well, they got tons of stuff
I mean,
online.
the info might be out there because I think their opening date is in January. If I'm not mistaken, it's located in
International
Charleston.
African American Museum.
Yeah, and it says it's scheduled to open in 2022, but you know, right now all construction is weird. So
Yeah,
but
they've moved the opening date till
Yes.
January 2023.
Yes, but they do have stuff online, and it is just I found it an amazing resource. They had you can explore records. Now it's the beginning of a collection, but you know, funeral programs, obituaries, photos, historical documents, and family histories. So this is probably a spot where you can go and share. They have United States colored troops pension files, Bible records, marriage records, and records for free people of color, and then something called Alana's archive. Okay, and the great thing about this is everybody can contribute to it. So if you found something, you can share. Okay, and let me go back to stop share. I'm sorry about this hopping back and forth, but there we go. Okay.
Back on PowerPoint.
We're back on PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you helping me with this. Federal census. Really, in genealogy, the census is not considered a pertinent record of proof because the enumerators sometimes didn't get the right information or made up stuff. You had to know who was telling the information to the enumerator and how he recorded it. So, but as far as African American, the federal constitution stipulated that slaves were counted as 3/5 of a resident for tax purposes in the apportionment of the House of Representatives. So the slave schedules, and they do not actually list the names of the slaves, rare occasions, and they only exist for historic slave states. Oops, go back. Alabama, Maryland, Arkansas, Mississippi, those, okay? So come on down. Now, free schedules, and this is important. Don't always assume you're looking for a slave. They list the names, age, sex, place of birth, and color of each person in the household. List those that were married the year and those in school, the level of literacy of those over 20, and also list whether the person was handicapped. Okay, so here's a free schedule for the District of Columbia. It shows the Dyson family, which were free in C. So you can see some the information there that you would possibly see in a in the census. And if census, you can look at family research. You can go to National Archives and see them. Okay, you can do research, and I don't mean go to National Archives, they have them online. Okay, so we got another little trip to take here. Okay. Okay. The Afro-American Historical and Genealogical
Alan,
Society.
could you bring me a pad of paper,
Okay.
please?
Okay.
You
Now.
can see it.
They're right there. I got 2 of them from the Heart people last night
Jim, I can hear you.
on the phone.
Uh,
Sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead and mute yourself if you wouldn't mind. Okay. This is a treasure trove. Okay. It's got all of these are links. So African American Family Histories, the Library of Congress. Is everybody looking at African American Web Resources?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And so each one of these is a link that takes you to online. Now, Cindy's list doesn't come up, so skip Cindy's list. But, and some of them are subscription, like Ancestry. Okay, but some of them are free. A lot of them are free. And they have a ton of information. So this could keep you busy for a while and provide some resources to you. But yeah, in addition to the National Archives, don't forget about the Library of Congress. You can go on the Library of Congress and you can search digital newspapers all across the United States. They have historic digital newspapers. They have books. They have all sorts of information. When I was doing some research for a church, I was trying to find out some information on a person who was buried in the cemetery, and surprisingly, I found their funeral published in a little booklet at the Library of Congress. So Library of Congress is immense in its abilities to, provide you with information. But newspapers, especially digital newspapers, you go to Library of Congress, historic newspapers online, and you are searching, I would say tens of thousands of newspapers throughout history. Okay, any questions? I'm trying to get through this because I only got an hour. Okay, so yeah, it's Afro-American Genealogical, African American Historical and Genealogical Society. Okay, we'll go down to the next one. Stop share. Ooh. Okay, share. Come on in.
I have a question. Will that list be available somewhere for us to get it? Because I couldn't write down all of those.
Yeah, The list I was showing you was on that website, but if you email me at admin at harfordhistory.org, I'll send you these slides because I know I'm covering a lot in a short time, and I apologize.
Okay, that was admin, ADMN.
ADMN, yeah, at
At
Harford,
History.
right, .org.
.org.
Okay, stop share,
Thank you.
screen share. Okay. Can everybody see Library of Virginia?
Yes.
Okay, these are more digital collections. Never be afraid to search libraries, the Pratt Library and Morgan State Library, and other libraries, University of Virginia, Virginia State, whatever, to see what collections they have online or what things they may have in their resources. I was doing a project for another project for a church, and I was trying to find information on windows that were made in England. And I found information on them at the at a library and a college in California. So you never know where you're going to find something. It's just strange that way. You just have to be patient and keep looking. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm gonna,
Back on PowerPoint.
okay. Okay. Are you looking at Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society Incorporated?
No, we're on PowerPoint.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go back down here. You back on PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna take a little trip again. Okay. Stop share. Share screen. Share. Okay. Should be looking at explore the origins and forced relocations of enslaved Africans across the Atlantic world.
Yes.
Okay. Migration patterns and forced movements are significant to tracing down these ancestors. Okay, because after a certain point, when importation of slaves was banned, what they started doing was shipping slaves across the United States. And the biggest port of receipt for the United States was New Orleans. And if you go through and you start looking at and we covered here, these voyages and these forced relocations, you will see a lot from the Mid-Atlantic region right to the, so following these patterns of, I don't want to say travel, but where they were sent to is important, because if you're looking for somebody in the Mid-Atlantic region, you may want to go down and start looking in New Orleans. Okay. So this is another good resource. Okay, so stop share. Okay. Okay.
Back on PowerPoint.
Yep. I'm starting to get the hang of it. Now we're almost to the end. Okay. And okay. Stop share. Okay. Now this, oops. This is freeafricanamericans.com. And this is in Maryland. Okay. But it also goes, it goes in the list of families, but it also has information like Delaware, free African American taxables, other free heads of household. So it has, again, each time you click on one of these, you're entering into another set of resources. So this is Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. Okay. And it's www.freeafricanamericans.com. Okay. Everybody can see that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And
Okay, you're back in PowerPoint.
okay.
Migration.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Family Search is an excellent resource because it's free. Okay, and it has a lot of the same stuff that Ancestry has. So you can do a lot of research. But okay, I'm going to skip to this. Please load. There we go. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, and again, this goes into African American migration. Okay, but this goes into a little bit more detail. Immigration to Canada, Underground Railroad, resources from the National Park Service, okay, and goes into all sorts of information, okay, and it has references to the fugitive slave laws, the National Archives, catalogs, court records, National Archives in New York City, and case records, runaway enslaved advertisements, immigration to Liberia, Library of Congress, state sources. So this will keep you busy for a while, but it could help knock down a brick wall. Okay. And last thing that I have, okay, you should be seeing free migration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the last thing I have is something that I've been trying to, no, it may not be the last thing. It's brand new. It was just started a few years ago. It's African Ancestry. And I'm going to bring it up here. And what I'm trying to do is get more information on it so that we can maybe highlight it in our October genealogy weekend, but it's ancestry.com specifically for the African American. And it's $299 a year. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, but it's interesting. I didn't quite get the chance to review as much as I want, but DNA testing is pushed as a way of answering a lot of questions. And with regular ancestry, there's just so much, but this is more specific to the African American and their genetic sequence and information and country and different things like that. But not only is it that, it's family trees and stuff like that. So you're not digging through information that may prove to be useless, and it's more specific. So I'm gonna find out more information on this, because I'd really like to have someone come in and talk about it to the. But yeah, there's the cost, $299, and $729. So different things like that.
Hey, Mary, this is Jane Gilbert. I'm a DNA project manager,
Yeah.
Family Tree DNA, and they're offering a lot of different kinds of DNA testing, which can be extremely valuable.
Okay.
Especially this Y-DNA test in the middle is really, it identifies the straight paternal line.
Okay.
Okay, so it can be very valuable if you have a male that you're trying to identify. Like, for example, if you believe he descends from a white family, it might actually, that Y-DNA test might tell you exactly which family he descends from.
Okay.
Not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination, but the
Right.
Y-DNA could come back, African American instead of, European.
Right.
But
but I'm curious because like I said, I just ran into this last night when I was checking some of my resources, and I ran across this and I went, well, this is amazing. And because Ancestry, I know from working with it, it's grown so big, and you can get lost in there, even being a trained genealogist. So and they messed me up in the beginning. That's why I took the course, because I was thinking this can't be right. And I did make some mistakes on Ancestry, but I've never seen anything this specific before. So I'm definitely going to contact them and try to find out more information, and we'll try to have something with them in October for our genealogical weekend. Okay, and hold on, I think I got one more. And there, share. The newspapers. Okay. Okay. Is everybody seeing click to add title?
Yes.
This is something else I added last night. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Is everybody seeing University of Houston, Victoria? No? Okay.
No.
Hold on.
Still seeing PowerPoint.
Okay. There we go. Okay, this is another resource I found
Now you see it.
last. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. You see U.S. slavery newspapers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, it's there.
This is the last one. Okay. Historic newspapers. Okay. It goes into specific U.S. slavery newspapers. New York Times Historical, 19th Century, Chronicling America, Portal to Texas History, North Carolina newspapers. It goes on and on. Just information. It'll tell you whether it's searchable or not, like the Frederick Douglass papers. And these are clippings from the Kansas Memorial Historical Newspaper Clipping Collection. And then, but you can see here, it's another site that gives you multiple sites, and it's www.library.uhv.edu, and it's slavery newspapers. Okay. So let me stop the screen share. Hey, there we are. Okay. Any questions or comments or requests for future endeavors or what?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for putting on this program. It was very informative. And secondly, I would like to know the Harford County Library on their computers lets you access ancestry.com. Do you know if they also have or will have access to the Black Ancestry page?
Don't know. That would be something you would have to take up with the librarian.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Can you send the PowerPoint to all participants?
Yes. Send me an email at admn@harfordhistory.org, and I promise I'll send it to you. If you haven't heard from me by next Friday, then send me another email.
ADMN
Yes,
at Harvard
ADMN
History.
at harfordhistory.org. Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
I do a lot of work on Maryland, as you know.
Yes.
Do you have any idea where the Baltimore News American newspaper is held? The Sun is everywhere. Baltimore Sun, you can find, everywhere. But the Baltimore News American or the News Post, they printed at the same time, but I've never been able to find if it's ever been scanned.
Did you check the Library of Congress?
It's not there,
Okay.
not scanned anyhow.
Baltimore City?
I have not checked Baltimore City. That's a good point. But
Yeah, I would check Baltimore City or Maryland Archives.
What's the best place would you suggest to get the Baltimore Afro-American?
There are some issues online. I'm trying to remember where I've seen them. I can't remember if that's Digital America, the one through Library of Congress. But use Google, type in the name of the newspaper in quotes.
Quotes.
Yes. The secret to Google when you're looking for something specific is to put it in quotes. Beginning quote, name, end quote. Okay. And that will get you more specific to what you're searching for. And because a lot of information came up about different newspapers, but I kind of had to weed down what I could cover in an hour.
Right. But
Yeah.
it would seem to be such an easy thing to find unless Hertz newspapers, who owned it, don't allow it to be scanned. I've heard it might be at UMBC. So, but thank you. That's a good idea to check Morgan, and UMBC should have something. I don't know if you've ever used UMBC, but I'll try that. If I find anything, I'll let you know.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a comment
Yes, ma'am.
concerning the Baltimore Afro-American newspaper. Before 1988, I believe, you could find anything through ProQuest. Now I believe the Afro-American is doing its own archive, which for me has just been a real labor to get through. So unless you contact them about their archive and whether they charge or whatever, but I just go through ProQuest through my
The library.
Hartford County or my Enoch Pratt library card. Yes,
Right.
Okay.
True. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time and attention. And I hope that we'll be seeing each other again soon. Hopefully in person at some time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
thank you.